Hello YouTube, welcome to another video by the Geo Scholar. Behind me I have a map, and right here I have a bunch of maps in this book. I've got my atlas with me, I've got maps around me, and if you're somebody who likes learning about geography, one indispensable tool is a map. A map is basically one of the geographer's best friends. Maps, compasses. Remember, you need to have those. You need to know how to read a map. In today's world where we have GPS to help us get to where we want to go, we have GPS to, pinpoint a location on this planet, the ability to read a map is still a requirement. In fact, in many ways, even more of a requirement, because when you have all this technology around, show you point A, point B, show you a particular position on this planet, you still need to be able to pinpoint that location on that map. You still need to know how to read a map. You still need to know how to interpret data on that map. That is still necessary. You can have all this great technology, but if you don't know how to use a map, it will not matter. You have to think about it. You have to think spatially. You have to know how to think spatially. You have to know how to, visualize in your mind, certain places, areas, geographic areas relative to other places. You still have to be able to think spatially. You have to think in terms of distance. How far am I compared to this location where I want to be? You still need to know how to read a map because you need to be able to visualize it. You need to be able to have that picture in your head. And you also have to make other considerations. You might have your GPS device, but suppose your GPS device breaks and you still need to get somewhere. This is all the more reason to know how to read a road map. All the more reason to do it. I will get to that in a moment. But, your GPS may break and you still need to be able to get somewhere. You need to be able to get from point A to point B, and for that reason, you need to know how to read a map. You have a situation where your data may go out, or your smartphone may not work properly. You still need to know how to read a map. Or in the case, you might have a situation where there's a little error going on. You still need to know how to read a map in case you get lost. Because there are cases where you might get lost because, a mistake was made, some kind of malfunction took place with your device. You still need to know how to read a map so you can get out of that situation. You can figure out where you are and be on your way. And there are a couple of other things you need to understand as well, such as, your cardinal directions. You need to understand how to use a compass, but, different video. Still, you need to know how to read a map. You really do. Because you might have your technology. And in some cases, the technology is even more of a reason you need to know how to read that map. Because what good is your GPS device? What good is Google Maps or Google Earth if you still don't know how to read that map? What good is it? In fact, that's all the more reason to know how to use maps properly. Because, you have that technology with you. You need to find out where you are. That way you can figure out how to get to where you need to be. You might have that list of directions, but you still need to know how to read that map, how to interpret that information, how to think spatially, so that you can get that picture in your mind, how far it is from one point to another point. I have a road atlas here, and it's important that you learn how to read a road map. You need to know. For instance, you are in Kansas City, Missouri. You want to get from Kansas City, Missouri to Denver, Colorado. What do? Well, on this map it shows you get here and you take 70 all the way to Denver. Here's even more of a reason you need to know, because you've got so many pages in here. Map of Kansas City. You know, depending on where you are, you still need to be able to read this. Because if you're on a certain street, you know, you're here, or you could be over here. You know, you might have to get on this highway, you might have to get on 435. Or you may have to get on 29. And by the way, Interstate 70 is right there. Or if you're in downtown, you got 70. You need to be able to figure out what exit you got to take. You got to figure out what streets you have to take to get to the proper exit. And we got another map here. This is Denver. You know, you're going from Kansas City to Denver, you got to take Interstate 70. And you also have to know what exit to get off of. Or if you're in North Dakota and you want to go from Fargo to the state capital of Bismarck because you have something you need to do there. Here we are. You got to take 94 going west. And this is why you have to know how to read. You got to recognize what the exits are. See? And you got to know what exit to get off of to get into Bismarck. Those are that's the exits. See? 161, 159. That's your north arrow. That lets you know where north is. See this? This is your legend. All the more reason you need to know how to read a map and know how to use a road atlas. You need to know all of these symbols so you know what you're coming up to. That way you'll be able to make your trip a little smoother. That way you will be able to read this map a little easier. You get one of these little green roads here. That's your toll road. You get these blue lines here, that's your interstate. These little markers here, that number, that little arrow there. This represents your interchange, your exits. Even with some of the changes that we have in our technology, it is still important to know how to read maps. It is still important to know how to use maps. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. Be sure to leave a comment, like, and subscribe.